Some of the best deals I've ever been a part of started the exact same way. A letter mailed to the owner of an LLC that owned a storage facility who never once thought about listing the property for sale until the letter showed up. This is the part of the business that looks the least glamorous and matters really the most. Direct owner outreach, going around the broker entirely and finding the seller before they've decided to sell. I'm Jeff Roma with CAE Real Estate Investments, and today I want to walk you through something most people have never thought about: how operators find deals that aren't for sale yet. Here's the insight that changes how you think about deal sourcing. Most property owners aren't actively trying to sell at any given moment, but a meaningful percentage of them are really just one phone call away from being open to it. An owner who's 72 years old and tired of dealing with the property, maybe an owner going through a partnership dispute, an owner who inherited a facility from a parent and never wanted to run it in the first place. These owners aren't calling brokers. They're not listing anywhere. They're just sitting there, managing the property they'd honestly be relieved to sell if the right conversation happened at the right time. Direct outreach is how you find them before anyone else does. This usually starts with identifying every self-storage facility in your target market, using county records, business filings, sometimes specialized data searches, and figuring out who actually owns each one. And honestly, with technology and AI these days, it's never been easier to do that. Then it's a sustained outreach campaign, a letter, a follow-up call, sometimes a second and third letter months later, because the first one rarely lands exactly at the right moment. The goal isn't to catch somebody in week one, it's to be the name they remember when they finally decide they're ready, maybe 6 months, 2 years down the road. When this works, it works incredibly well because you're often the only buyer at the table. No competing bids, no bidding war driving up the price, just a direct conversation between you and the seller, often resulting in a better price and cleaner terms than anything that would have come through the competitive broker process. Here's why almost nobody does this well on their own. First of all, it requires real infrastructure. So skip tracing to find current owner contact information. Since, the name on the county records is often an LLC, need to trace through the actual decision maker behind it, right? That's not a skill most investors have, and doing it wrong means your letters go nowhere or to the wrong person entirely. Second, this is fundamentally a numbers game, right? That requires patience most people don't have. You might send outreach to 50 owners and hear back from 2. Of those 2, one might say not interested and the other might say call you back in a year. People expect quick results and give up after one mailing when the real payoff often comes from the third or fourth touch, sometimes over a year or 2 later. Third, and this is one that actually damages your reputation if done wrong, how you approach an owner matters enormously. A poorly worded letter or a pushy follow-up call can poison the well, really, not just for that property, but for your reputation in the market. If word gets around among owners who know each other, it really is a small world. There's a real skill to making first contact feel respectful, low pressure, rather than a vulture circling, right? And once you actually get somebody interested, you need to be ready to move. Have your underwriting process ready, have your financing relationships in place, because it can't actually perform once somebody says yes. If you can't, you've burned the relationship for future deals. This is exactly the kind of unglamorous, consistent work that most investors never see, and it's a meaningful part of how we source deals that never touch the open market. We've built the systems for this, identifying ownership, sustained outreach over months and years, and the discipline to follow up respectfully without being a nuisance. When you invest with us at CAE Real Estate Investments, you're benefiting from years of this groundwork that already exists, not starting from zero, trying to figure out how to find an off-market deal on your own. We source deals most investors never find because we're doing this work that most people don't have the patience or infrastructure for. Comment deals below if you want to see exactly what we're working on in our pipeline.